We said, oh, yeah, you got mine, you're going to give us a full-time job. We get a full-time job, we got to give up our disability. Why not go for what we do in Akron, Ohio, go for a 3-hour job. You start them off. Get them off the streets. Give them something to do. Put them to work. If that works out, you can give them 2, 3 hours. You can build them up. Don't go from out in the streets for 12 years and full-time job. Some that might be okay. Those work disincentives built into Social Security and all, you can lose your disability, as you know. Difference, not a defect. Big thing. I'll never forget the talk I'm giving in Seattle, Washington. I got an article on 12 coping skills, and I talk about our defects. Consumer comes up and says, just like pouring salt in a wound when you say they're not defects, they're differences. She's right. We're not defective. We're different from you normal. We are not defective. Defective is a pejorative term. We prefer you not to use pejorative terms when you're referring to us. Got a matrix thing that identifies, they keep calling them defects, I keep calling them differences. Yeah, we got short-term memory problems. We got problems with attention. We got problems, speed of processing. I think that's primarily due to the meds they give us. Executive functioning, they call that problem solving. And certainly social cognition. We'll never figure out how you normals work. Matrix, we're actually developing a pill for this. Now, recently, British Archive of Psychiatry shows something we can do better than you normals can. Syllogism. You know what a syllogism is? Common sense. Not. All buildings speak loudly. Hospital does not speak loudly. Therefore, a hospital is not a building. Well, that's ridiculous. But it is a valid syllogism. You give a series of these from the sun rises, then the sun's in the east, the sun is in the east, therefore the sun rises. Is that, sun certainly rises, that's not valid. You give this to normals and schizophrenics beat the normal. Why? Because normals have common sense. We don't. Something about us, the reason we can't get along isn't because of lack of ability to have logicality. We depend on that logicality, and we're different. But we're not necessarily defective. Substance abuse and mental health, very important. Genes, they're here. What does that mean? Here are a bunch of genes. We've got 20,000 genes in each one of you. Half of them, 10,000, do with the brain. A bunch of those they're showing it have to do with schizophrenia in the brain. Here's a bunch of them. This one's named after schizophrenia. Why is that important? Because of this one. COMP, catecholomethyltransferase gene, named by the Science Journal the second most important scientific breakthrough in all science in the year 2003. What does that gene do? Catechol means an umbrella term for dopamine and norepinephrine. It controls dopamine activity in the frontal cortex. 2 varieties, 2 alleles, 2 mutants of that COMP gene. One of them associated with a amino acid methionine, the other with valine. Now, a quarter of the population have each one of those, and the rest of the population has a combination. If you have that methionine right here, you're in that 1/4 of the population with that methionine allele of that COMP gene, you luck out. You can smoke marijuana till your head falls off. It's not going to change the probability of you coming down with schizophrenia. On the other hand, if you have that valine allele of that COMP gene, and you smoke marijuana, if you don't smoke marijuana, you're okay. If you smoke marijuana, even to a moderate degree, between ages 15 and 18, biological psychiatry, May of 2005, replicated. If you smoke that marijuana, you increase likelihood of schizophrenia symptoms tenfold by age 25. Got that? We can identify a degree of vulnerability to marijuana and soon to other of these psychoactive drugs even before you're born. Now, we're taking advantage of this. We're going to start putting up booze at your rock festivals so we can give DNA analysis to these kids and give them a little counseling like, you know, son, I think you'd be better off sticking with heroin. We've got to get the word out. It really isn't. New York Times did a thing here. If you Google, you don't believe me, Google marijuana, schizophrenia, you'll see a plethora. My kids, 4 of them, they're all on these meds. Most of them doing okay, not all of them. 10 years ago, word got out these meds were being given to kids, and they'd only been the research being done on them for adults. 60 Minutes got word of this. 60 Minutes came into our living room, on our sofa, talking to our family. It's amazing what your kids will tell 60 Minutes they never told their parents. But we got ourselves on the front page of Marketplace of Wall Street Journal, and we just figured this year 2 million copies of these going out. We probably don't have to send out nearly as many Christmas cards as we usually do. So the word from me and my kids, carry these genes. Thank you very much for inviting me to address you today, and thank you for your interest in all you're doing for the seriously mentally ill. Thank you, USPRA.
Wow. Wow. Woo-hoo!